Hey, what's your favorite David and Goliath story? For me, it's the Jollibee versus McDonald's here in the Philippines. McDonald's has conquered every market it enters around the world. But here, that smiling clown is humbled by a red, smiling bee. Let's find out Jollibee's secret weapon and business strategy. This is the story of how Jollibee outsmarted McDonald's in turning national pride into a global empire. And it all started not with a burger, but with a simple scoop of ice cream. It all began in 1975, when a young chemical engineer named Tan Caktiong opened an ice cream parlor in Cubao, Quezon City. It was just a simple and typical ice cream shop, but Tony was a smart listener. When his customers started asking for hot meals, he paid attention. He added hot dogs and burgers to the menu, and they became an instant hit. So much so that by 1978, he pivoted completely, turning his ice cream shop into the very first Jollibee fast food outlet. He came up with a mascot, a cheerful red bee with a blazer and chef's hat, designed to capture the Filipino spirit, which is hardworking, optimistic, and of course, jolly. For a few years, business was great. Jollibee was the local champ. But then in 1981, the undisputed global king of fast food opened its first store in the Philippines. With decades of experience and thousands of stores worldwide, this felt an extinction level for Jollibee. So, Tony's advisors were panicking. Their advice was unanimous. They told Tony to sell out to McDonald's now or get crushed. It seemed like a no-brainer. Trying to compete would be foolish. After all, McDonald's is the king of fast food. But Tony ignored them. In a brilliant move, he didn't see an enemy, but instead he saw a teacher. So he flew to the United States, not to wave a white flag, but to study his competition. He visited every McDonald's branches, analyzing their operations, their service speed, their marketing, and everything that made them a powerhouse. He came back to the Philippines equipped with the knowledge on how to compete. He started to implement McDonald's operation standards, making his own stores more efficient. But he knew that just copying them will not be enough, so he had to find his own secret weapon. That secret weapon wasn't some new technology, but a secret sauce. Literally, it was something way more powerful, something McDonald's can't copy: Filipino taste. Tony knew that while Filipinos like American food, like I do, Jollibee had a unique insight. Filipino loved sweet and more savory, distinctly Pinoy taste. This idea became the heart of Jollibee's menu. The Jolly Spaghetti was added to the menu. A bright red, sweet pasta loaded with sliced hot dogs and cheese. To an outsider, it might sound a little weird, but to Filipinos, it was a taste of every single childhood birthday party. Then came the Chicken Joy. This wasn't just any fried chicken. It was engineered to be perfectly crispy on the outside and juicy on the inside. It is seasoned with a secret blend of spice that made it uniquely savory. Together with rice and gravy, it became a blockbuster hit. Even the Yum Burger were made with a slightly sweeter signature sauce. Jollibee wasn't just selling food, it was selling a feeling. It sold nostalgia and comfort. For most Filipinos, Jollibee is associated with their best memories like family get-together, celebrations, and happy meals. That deep emotional connection is something no global marketing campaign could ever beat. Jollibee became a cultural icon. Their commercials were not about discounts. They were about family, love, and Filipino values, telling stories that every Filipino can relate. That powerful culture connection was the core of Jollibee's strategy, and it was backed by a sharp and aggressive business plan. In 2021, Jollibee Foods Corporation or JFC held a dominant 29% market share in the Philippines. Compared that to just 9% for McDonald's. Jollibee expanded like crazy nationwide. They opened stores not just in the big cities but also in small towns and provinces. This made Jollibee the default and most convenient fast food chain in the country. Second, JFC went on acquiring popular local brands like Chowking for Chinese food, Mang Inasal for grilled chicken, and of course, Red Ribbon for cakes and pastries. It was a genius decision because it meant that even if a Filipino didn't feel like Yum Burger today, their money would probably still end up with JFC. Third, the whole experience was tailored to Filipino culture. Jollibee is best known for being family-oriented, reflecting the country's hospitality. Walking into a Jollibee feels more welcoming than the more transactional vibe. I think you know what I mean. But winning at home was just the start. The same secret weapon that conquered the Philippines became the key to going international. They started by opening stores in places with huge Filipino communities like California, Middle East, Milan, and London. This guarantees a captured market from day one, which leads to those viral photos of people lining up, waiting for hours just to get a taste of Chicken Joy. And now, something fascinating is happening. The hype is spreading. Even foreigners are curious about the long lines and the buzz. So they also tried Jollibee for the first time, and they are loving it. The sweet and savory flavor that was once considered too local is now being celebrated. In fact, for 2 years in a row, USA Today, a US magazine, awarded Jollibee's Chicken Joy as the #1 best fast food fried chicken in the US, beating American giants like Popeyes and KFC. JFC is no longer just a Filipino company, it's a global force. As of early 2025, JFC operates nearly 10,000 stores worldwide, and thanks to its huge portfolio of brands, over 6,500 of them are now outside the Philippines. They've announced ambitious plans to open up to 800 new stores globally in 2025 alone. They are taking the fight directly to McDonald's own territory. Jollibee's story is a good reminder that knowing your customer on a deep and emotional level can be the game changer. So, let's summarize what we have learned so far. First, Jollibee won by playing its own game. They focus on their Filipino identity, then use that as a weapon. Second, they paired this emotional connection with aggressive business moves like rapid expansion and acquisition to capture local market. The story of Jollibee versus McDonald's is more than just a business case study. It's a modern day David versus Goliath.